Shariana, beloveds, beautiful beloved soul fam. My divine brothers and sisters. I am feeling as though this transmission is going to bring some really potent remembrance to those that are walking this path and filling in some pieces that have been unwitnessed, unrecognized, and have perhaps not made sense as to why certain things have been the way they are, why certain experiences have unfolded, and this new shift of frequency, this energy of the new year, the energy of the new moon, the energy of this new timeline that is currently in the quantum field in a hold point. So it's not anchored, it is there, it is visible, it is what I would call a foggy vision. It's not clear, yet it is very present. I require to share what it is that is coming through and what it is that I am seeing and what it is that is present and alive in relation to this. So I'm just going to ask for a couple of people to come in while I call in the higher selves of our brothers and sisters that desire to receive this transmission, whether or not they are in physical presence or whether they receive this through the quantum field and through their open heart, through sovereign free will. Always choosing that of God's law, universal law, being that of respect to each individual being and what they are choosing at their highest monadic self, and inviting those brothers and sisters to receive this through the quantum field, through the earth grids, and in this live transmission. So what is taking place currently is the remembrance point in time of the serious dissension into ancient Egypt. And what took place was two crafts that had our heavenly divine family on them. They were divided into divine counterparts, not all male, female, but there was divine coding that was held between these partnerships. Now these crafts, there was two crafts, and the challenge was that at this point in time, the divine family and the heavenly expression of the unified cosmic consciousness in form. So most of you may or may not be aware, but your starseed expression is only one expression of that which you be. The bringers of change, not all, but the primordial race are the ones that hold a unified, evolved consciousness of a creator being. So this specific timeline is around the creator beings that were still working with the Galactic Federation. Now the Galactic Federation was made up of all 12 main races within the universe, and they all had their own desire for evolution. It is 11:11. Marianda takaria nori mahasha takaria satukoria kiaria tekeniana mukoyana hayare hata sutetekiana. They all had their own desire to evolve their race from the human experience. Now, the Galactic Federation was made up of each individual being as a way from each constellation, as a way to give a lens and perspective of each viewpoint. So each vibrational consciousness was able to speak their truth, their needs, and meet in the middle of evolving the galaxy together. Now this point in time was to allow for humanity to become an evolved expression and that had come into their own medicine and magic in physical form. Now, it is a playground, and it was designed to be a playground, designed to be somewhere where you could go and you could explore all of that which you had evolved into, and see what it was that one could create in physical form. So to be source in form, to be spirit in matter. Now, the Galactic Federation not only had they had all of the 12 races, so that's your Draconians, your Greys, your Mantis, your Orion, your Arcturian, your Pleiadian, your Sirian, your the ones that I can't think of right now. And they came together in council, and yet there was also beings from what we would call the Council of One. So the Council of One, there are multiple human beings incarnate from the Council of One, I being one, and multiple beings in my field, also multiple beings that are doing this work and bringing this high level information, have access. If they are not a part of the Council of One, they have an access point where they can channel information from the Council of One. So the Council of One is a higher evolved council of beings or energy frequencies that gift God's word of the Law of One, the Emerald Tablets, the truth of unification with Source, divine union with God, to be brought into this reality. So the Galactic Federation and the Council of One work together. And this I'm not actually sure if this has continued back, but I believe that it has resumed. So the Ariati, just tuning back in, my phone overheated. It tends to do that every single time I hop in the car. So I'm going to hold this. I believe this is the same transmission. If you can tell me, let me know. It doesn't matter. Just joining in the frequencies, the channel, realigning, reconnecting, coming back into the channel that was. So basically, the idea was to bring this information from the Galactic Federation as well as the Law of One and evolve the human race so that there was a place where beings could create in separation. And this was a decided point within the Galactic Federation at this point, right before the dissension into ancient Egypt. Now, these two crafts held what we would now call the people of our soul family that resonate to the ancient Egypt timeline the strongest, and the ones that resonate to Yeshua or the Essenes time the strongest. And so it's quite interesting because for me, I have such a strong connection to Yeshua, but I know that I'm not in resonance with the Essenes timeline. It's not that I'm not in resonance, it means that I know that my remembrance does not sit there because I was not here during that point in time. Now, to make sense of what this means in the now and why this is important is that this ambush split up these divine counterparts. So we'll just say one craft was ancient Egypt, one craft was the Essenes. And the Essenes were the ones that came and got interjected, and they actually stashed their frequencies, their templates, and their information into a timeline that has been inaccessible until now. Now, so the plan was that the individuals from the Essenes would come down and they would create together as the Holy Family in that true goal for everyone to evolve together, for every race to evolve, for everyone to be able to have their frequency, their medicine, their magic used in this playground. Now, because there were on the Galactic Federation, and still are and still remain to be double agents, what happened is that there was a leak of information, which meant the Draco Reptilians came in and interjected that plan for our divine family to come down and assist in a unified goal. Now, the aspect where it gets really confusing for those on this journey of remembrance is the confusion between false divine family or soul groups and divine counterparts, and the manipulation of what that's been. Not just in genetics, I'm not even going to speak into that side of things, not just in the fragmentation of our collective thought forms, but in the fact that this individual, so the ambush came through, and because Draco Draconians have the ability to create holographic mimicry and cloning, and reptilians are amazing shapeshifters, and they use the ability of mind control through different forms. Now, what that created was that they copied and cloned and mimicked the split off divine counterparts, or the other soul family. So whoever, this is where it gets really complicated and really challenging, is that up until this timeline where this accessed time capsule, okay, so this is an accessed time capsule that has happened in the last week, is that this information that got lost in that ambush has come back into the collective field. We are regaining this information, and what's happening is where that dividing point of those two crafts, the ancient Egyptians and the Essenes, are now coming together in the recognition that they were the original soul carriers and code holders and divine connectors. And so anyone that we have journeyed with up until this point needs to be reviewed. There needs to be a review of who were they really. Are they actually a part of your soul family, and there's been some discord, and you're requiring to go through some reconciliation and come into the now moment and start to create from this future timeline of resonance? Or were they individuals that cloned, copied, shapeshifted and manipulated through mind control to perceive to be something that they were not? Because that perception and that distortion played out in ancient Egypt. So the divine counterparts of these specific gods, if we look at the gods and the goddesses, and this is why it is not advisable to go and devote yourself to any consciousness other than God. Speak to God. Speak to God. Even Yeshua, if you don't know Yeshua, there are false programs out in our collective field that want to trick and manipulate. So go straight to God. Go straight to God. Build your relationship with God. Build your relationship with Source. And then you're able to see, because that fragmentation that took place is that half of those gods and goddesses in ancient Egypt were not divine family. They were not your holy family, your true divine counterpart. They were manipulated, copied, and pretended to be something that they were not. Now, this is not the first point in history. Lyra actually is the first point of time that this ambush and this swapping and copying and stealing of consciousness took place. Because if you feel into the resonance of some of these people, you're gonna feel the love, you're gonna feel the connection, you're gonna feel parts of it is in resonance. But there's also going to be a nervous system response that is telling you that at certain points that these individual beings aren't, it's not quite right. Why is this so hard? Why don't I feel this is my brother? Why don't I feel this is my sister? Why do I not feel this connection of I can move through anything with this person? Yes, I am a human being and I have different discords, but what's happened is the false understanding of who is and who has played out those roles. So a review is necessary for the last, my entire life, and I'm sure most of yours entire life, of who was actually who was a genuine soul connection, and who appeared to have a deep love and a deep connection because you'd actually journeyed incarnation cycle after incarnation cycle after incarnation cycle with beings that suppressed you, manipulated you, and caused disharmony within your life. I can feel my phone's getting extremely hot, so I'm hoping that it doesn't just fuse out. And so now we are meeting this returning point of reconciling that ambush where the Essenes and the Egyptians split, the manipulation of who was playing what role, because the manipulation of consciousness, and we're coming into the true essence of our God Source Creator expression inwardly, which means that we can see that in our brothers and sisters. We can see the true resonance, our nervous system, our body, our being. There's a knowing, there's this I just, I feel you, sister. I feel you so deeply. I'm so here for you. Brother, I am here in this way. And I know how challenging this is to hear for some people, but this spiritual community, and I know there's a lot of beings on this that are in Australia, and there's also a lot of American and Hawaiian and a lot of different people from different parts of the world. Half of the people that are in these spaces do not have a pure of heart intention. They don't. And it's more than just the human ego. I wish I could say it was just the human ego, but that's just the 3D lens. You got to start understanding that we are multidimensional beings. So that 3D human may be innocent, they may be a little, wounded, X, Y, and Z. There's this feeling that they desire to evolve the human race, but if they've got a descended consciousness, or they have a connection to something that they're not accessing because they haven't done their shadow work, then they actually have an agenda from an aspect of self that they don't even know exists, that is causing absolute fuckery in the field. And I cannot expand this enough. I cannot share this enough, that what you do in the light is happening in the dark. So if you're bringing in codes, you're bringing in magic, and you're like, yes, I'm opening to more and more God, there is beings that appear to be doing the same thing, and they're actually invoking satanic energy, demonic energy in the spaces that you are weaving and dancing. Your ecstatic dance, your womb work, these sister circles, that is the truth. That truth is that there is no pure space currently. There is no pure intention, because we have so been divided in this severing of our true divine sisters and our true divine brothers, and this soul family of our heavenly connection. And so we have to, ow, my hand's cramping. We have to witness this. We have to acknowledge this, because if we do not, then we are at the effect of it. We have to be discerning. There is no wavering anymore. Asking here and being so sure that every single being that I am connecting with has the same pure of heart intention, that God is my first relationship, Source is my first relationship, evolution of the planet is my first goal. Anything else, and this is where it might sound like that, but if you have someone that is driven by their human, and they're not wanting to let go of their ego, and they're not willing to look at their shadow, that's because they don't have the same desire as what you have. And if you keep dancing and weaving with them, you're gonna go through the initiations of hell like I did. You're going to meet every aspect of fragmentation that you've journeyed, because you are unable to listen to the purity. Now, the purity of Isis is what what has been called to be birthed through me for mystery school. The reason is that she was so distorted in her lens of purity that she created more fragmentation. Because purity is not denying the truth, it's seeing everything. We can only be in service to so much. We can only be in service to our true highest divine timeline. And we all have blind spots, and we require each other to see those blind spots. We require each other to remind each other. All right. So we require each other. We are limited in our human form, whilst also being infinitely connected. Yes, we can see all things, but whilst we are human, we have one lens of focus. We can start to merge our cosmic and our human. We can start to see our multidimensional and our 3D reality, and that's what we're being called to do, is to start to bring the cosmic into the 3D, to start to see that they are all happening at once. They are all coexisting. There is no division, there is no separation, so that we can start to be aware of the choices that we're making, so we can align ourselves one step at a time with what is of the highest good, what is our highest timeline, what is the path for humanity. And so this timeline that's there in its foggy vision, it's being held in these reunited connections. And so if you are someone that resonates with the ancient Egyptian, it's time to be aware of those that hold those codes and frequencies of Yeshua, that are your divine mirrors of what has been lost in your holy family, in the divine race, in the soul family. What aspects of yourself are still to be activated and gifted? What are you there to share with another that you've journeyed? Because this is where our perspective lens is able to bring a greater truth. And in that greater truth, and by showing up in these connections and by showing up in these experiences, we're able to anchor this timeline. We're able to gift it down into the earth and hold it. And so this mirroring is that I know, as a high priestess and a goddess from the ancient Egyptian lineage, as one of my strongest remembrances, that I have just beautiful frequencies, beautiful remembrances, beautiful channel of information to share, my brothers and sisters that don't have that experience. And I don't have the experience of the time of Christ. I don't have the knowledge of the different technologies or the way it was used, because not only was it a different timeline, these were different vibrations, these were different rituals, these were different ceremonies, different frequencies, different beings of consciousness that we can connect into and receive from. And neither is greater than the other. They coexist together. We need the templates and the coding from both to come together to actually bring the pure divine feminine, the pure divine masculine. Because a divine feminine is not black or white, and a divine masculine is not black or white. And we can see the Essenes as the white, and we can see the Egyptians as the black, the shadow. However it is, they are coexisting, and although both times have distortion, they both hold magic and codes and keys. It is the union of our heavenly family. This is such a beautiful, beautiful time. And although there has been deception, although there has been detours, although there has, my phone's going to overheat again, although there has been, it's not helpful when you're holding source energy and you're like, although there has been manipulation, let go of the past. This is what now is. It's a no more do we need to look at the past in the way we have. Let go of the past version of the self and integrate it into the now, and start focusing on what you're bringing in, what you're calling in, what you're stepping into. Yes, we need to look at our shadow, but we've done so much shadow work. We've done so much healing. We've done so much dissension. It's not about flipping out of being in balance, but it's being in presence and not looking back, but actually standing and looking forward with the awareness of what's been. Shifting the focus of direction. If I'm standing in front of you, right, this is where our brothers and sisters are so needed, is if I'm sitting in front of you, you've got my back. You can see what I can't see, but I can sense it and feel it. So we are looking to the future. We are looking at each other. We are receiving the knowing. We are connecting. When you look into here, you can see, you can feel. If it is not a fuck yes in your body, if there is something off about someone, if there is something off in your field, question it. What is really going on? In everything that I've shared, there is so much that we are being asked to stop being in denial of. Find the beings that you trust, your brothers and sisters that truly have your best interest at heart, and the ones that don't. It sounds cold, but we don't have time or space for them any longer, because they have disrupted the gifting. And when they're ready, if they choose They can join us when they're choosing from a frequency that is supportive of that timeline. Maybe their journey is to go into the depths of destruction. As we reclaim our power and our life force, there is no longer space for those to feed off of us. I love you. My phone is burning my hand. If you resonate with this, please share the word, share the transmission, share the activation, tag your brothers and sisters, sit with the review of who's in your field from the full knowing of your connection with source. If there is discord, if there is question, if there is something there, question what that is. Question from the highest truth. I love you. God bless.